Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. You've been doing this business long enough. You never forget who you were with when the Ted Wells report broke out during Deflategate. And it's burned and seared in my memory. It's the man to my right who's nominated for his work in Ray Donovan. Season 4 premiered last month on Showtime. He's a longtime star of The Simpsons, soon to bring his hilarious baseball announcer character Jim Brockmeyer to the small screen on the IFC channel. He is Hank Azaria. Good to see you, Hank. How are you?
Rich, nice to be here.
Remember that day when we're sitting there in the New York studios of DirecTV?
Sure. That was chapter 27 of 18 more to come of Deflategate.
It was just beginning that day. It really was, you know.
I'm pretty happy we can put that in our rearview mirror.
Are you, though?
Oh, yeah. Didn't that get boring to you?
Well, very, very. But that does mean that the Patriots are without Tom Brady for 4 games. For a Jet fan, I imagine that is
win-win. Fantastic.
Except, though, I don't know if you noticed, that in the 4 games that Brady will be sitting, the Patriots have 2 home games, 2 against AFC East opponents, none of them the Jets.
Listen, beggars can't be choosers in this situation. It's kind of all's well that ends well. It is an amazingly baffling. I'm looking forward to, like, 5-10 years from now when somebody can look back and actually, you know, the way things get 20/20 in hindsight.
Yes.
And just really break down what the hell happened
Well,
here.
what do you think 10 years from now will it come up with more information about what we don't know right now?
Yeah, I'm interested in the real motivations behind what everybody was doing here, like the real politics going on. I mean, you get the feeling that the NFL and Goodell didn't like. My impression is once Brady started defending it so hard and doing things like throwing out his phone and going out of his way like that, they got like, wait a minute, that's too far. It seemed to get personal at some point.
And then there's somebody that was talking to the media as well.
Yeah.
That was feeding misinformation out there that 11 of the 12 footballs
in the
was
lead up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because that's the way this whole thing started.
Right.
The date, because there would have been no Wells report for us to share with each other, Hank, forevermore, if there wasn't that big, huge furor
Right.
that the NFL, rightfully at the time, put into a box and put away so that it wasn't discussed during the Super Bowl in the form of an independent investigation that then just simmered beneath the surface until that very fateful day when you showed up on my show in New York City.
Yes. And, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing it seemed like the spirit of this is correct, meaning like the NFL saying to the Patriots, all right, enough already with the cheating and seeming like you're singled out and favored by everybody.
Yeah.
But in specific, was this worth getting so crazy over? No. But then they overreacted on their end, and then on and on and on.
And then it just became about something other than a ball deflation scheme. It became about power, and now here we are with Tom Brady missing the first 4 games. What do you think the Patriots are going to go without him? At Arizona, home for Miami, short week, home Thursday night against the Texans, who may not have J.J. Watt, and then home for Rex and the Bills. Those are the 4 without Brady.
They'll at least win one of those. I don't know how is Garoppolo, is that?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. It depends on him, right?
Yeah.
But Belichick, you got to figure they're good for 2 wins there. The Patriots, they usually start a little slow, don't they? Usually even with Brady?
They sometimes, with Tom, can be on the road and be put into a tough spot, like, say, Arizona. But more often than not, Brockman, they usually come out of the gates somewhat galloping in that regard.
Yeah, you know, the best they've done in any of the Super Bowl years was 2-2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They usually not. They gain speed as they go. I think it's part of Belichick. He knows not to. I think he eases into the season
before they move on to Cincinnati and then start beating the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
In that regard. Hank Azaria here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think of the Jets with Ryan Fitzpatrick making everybody nervous, and now he's in? What do you think the Jets season
Another
could be?
fascinating little situation that I'm curious what the actual story was. I mean, it seemed like we talked about this a little bit a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
That nobody had anything to lose by not blinking. Nobody was calling up Ryan Fitzpatrick, so the Jets could just stand pat, and Ryan kind of knew that the Jets had no other options either. So, and I read somewhere that it seemed like it was Foles' availability that might have finally tipped Fitzpatrick over into saying, all right, let's make a deal here.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Jets had an option all of a sudden.
Yes, and which hadn't been true all preseason. But I don't know. I'm glad it. As a Jet fan, we're all glad it worked out.
But what do you think? Another 10 wins? Do you think that's a possibility here? What do you got for me?
Absolutely a possibility. Why not? I mean, how do you think Forte is going to do?
He's 30. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
How did he do last year? Chris, how did he do last year? Was he hurt a lot last year?
He was only hurt for a couple of games, but normally he doesn't miss a snap.
Right.
Normally he doesn't miss a snap. Look, it's now or never, really. Or
there's no quarterback on the horizon.
This is what did you think of Christian Hackenberg being chosen 51st overall?
I don't know a lot about it, but to me that just feels like we're just rolling dice now. Like it's better than not having anybody in the pipeline. I mean, and obviously they feel like maybe he has potential. I'm very curious how Petty and he will turn out. Who knows, right?
I know. Well, the reason why I'm bringing that up, too, is my bearded one over there, Chris Law, is a Penn State guy who is compiling a list of people who are denigrating Christian Hackenberg at
doubters.
The 51st overall selection. I'm on the list.
I mean, you think he was taken too high or something?
No question about it.
Okay.
I don't know what the Jets were doing. I don't know why they're going ahead and keeping on.
Hank, it's like when you're a young actor and they don't really understand your value.
Right.
And
sort of
you know that you're right for the role.
It's sort of if
you feel that Hackenberg is being undervalued by Rich Eisen?
I think the Jets made a fantastic pick, and, and in the next 2 to 5 years, Jets Nation will find this out. And
are you being colored by your love of school?
No question.
There's a slight possibility of that, but he was also thought to be the year prior the #1 overall pick in the draft. Had a tough situation with his coaching change.
By the way, it was what he's trying to say is it's as if there was somebody out there a big Hank Azaria fan compiling a list of the people who thought your work in Herman's Head was not something that was not something that was a precursor to the greatness that is unfolded.
Like Family Ties.
They might have been right.
Family Ties.
Were you on a Family Ties?
I was.
They thought you should have been the lead.
And my grandmother thought I was. I'm not kidding. My grandmother was elderly at that point. They're like, watch, Grandma, Hank's going to be on TV. They called and said, what'd you think, Grandma? And she said, I thought that Hank was taller. So she thought I was Michael J. Fox. She saw that as Michael. She thought I was Michael J. Fox.
Or Growing Pains. They thought you should have been the lead.
Wow, you really you got my whole little resume pulled up right there.
I got it right here.
And you're just spouting it.
You're on I
did 2 Growing Pains.
2?
Yeah, not 1 but 2.
Do we call that an arc?
No, it's too short to be an arc. Come on, Richard. You know that's not an arc. Come on, don't make me angry.
Okay, when we come back, we'll talk Jim Brockmeyer. We'll also talk about what's going on with Ray Donovan. And there's also something about you that you did recently that I did not know. That's called a tease to you, even
that's
sitting right here.
Me, yeah.
That's back in 60 Ticks the Clock here with Hank Azaria. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Hank Azaria here in studio, and the man who plays Ed Cochran on Ray Donovan, nominated for that role, Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had Stephen Bauer on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's an interesting cat. That's Stephen Bauer.
Avi, yes.
He's been
from Ray Donovan, yeah.
he's been through quite a bit, Stephen
Has
Bauer.
he?
Yeah.
All right.
He told some good Pacino stories. Now you have
from Scarface.
Oh yeah. Now you have one from Heat, right?
Yeah,
Pacino.
Yes.
You've told that story on the podcast.
I have.
Would you unpack that story right here?
It's a long story, though.
You could just real quick, right?
So many times. Wait, it's the.
It's the one where you used a line that.
Oh, great! Yeah, yes. We did a lot of takes on that movie, and his line is, "I say, why did I get mixed up with this? Not a nice word for a woman."
Yeah.
And he said his line is because she's got a great ass. Except on that line, he went, because she's got a great ass. And he genuinely scared the bejesus out of me when he did that. And I went, not acting at all. I went, Jesus, like that. And which makes it into the movie.
They kept that take.
That's in the, which, you did 90 billion takes. You never know what was going to get in. And Michael Mann didn't want me to ad-lib. And that's the only thing I ad-libbed wasn't an ad-lib. Me going, Jesus. Terrified of Al Pacino, and that's in the movie.
And that's in the movie.
Go look it up. Go check it out.
Go check it out. Go run tell that. One thing that I did not know that you did was you addressed Tufts University.
Yes.
You gave a commencement speech.
I did.
Is that the most nerve-wracking thing you've ever done, or what?
It turned into being very nerve-wracking at the time. I was so busy when they asked me, like, sure, yeah. Then I was like, oh, my God, I actually have to go do this. And I think if I knew what a big deal it was, especially in this modern era where everything is recorded and placed on YouTube immediately, and it's. I would have been much more nervous about it. Luckily, my lovely assistant Sheena, who's sitting right there, helped me with the speech. Lovely job helping me craft it. And it went okay. I was actually kind of a thrill.
We actually have a bit of it right here.
Do you
Let's
really?
take a look. Yeah, here's Hank in front of his alma
Mo,
mater.
the bartender, would like to say hi. Yeah, how yous all doing out there? Yeah, all right. I didn't have the benefit of a fancy, highfalutin education. I went to BU. So let's hear from Chief Wiggum first.
Thank you very much. Let's see, advice. Oh yeah, kids, you didn't hear this from me, but if a cop even thinks that you're gonna throw up in their back seat, they will immediately let you go. No crime is worth having to clean yak out of a seatbelt hole.
Finally, comic book guy would like to say, hello. Life is like the Star Wars movies. Some of it is great, some of it sucks, but you have no choice but to sit through all of it. Very similar to the commencement speech you are listening to right now.
Great job, man.
Thank you.
Did you ever think when you were at Tufts that you'd be speaking to the class and just doing your bits, doing your thing?
No, especially because, you know, what I talked about leading up to that was what a screw up I was academically in college and how I took a very crooked path through Tufts University and afterwards. And so it was, that was one of the reasons why it was very nice to be up there.
What season is Simpsons in now? 19,000?
We're recording. I think the 27th is just there. We're recording the 28th. I know. Long time.
It's as good as ever, man. It's as good and is as timely and as current as ever.
It's going well, yeah. They've done some nice episodes.
What's your favorite character that you do?
Like my favorite character that I enjoy doing the most is Professor Frink.
Okay.
Who's the scientist guy, you know, who speaks like this, Rich Eisen, of course. And may I say that Professor Frink enjoys the general shape of your head. It's slightly ovoid and rather obvious to the general public.
Once I start doing that, I tend to not be able to stop.
That's right. You can,
it's Jerry Lewis, which nobody knows that anymore because we're only old people like us know that that's the original Nutty Professor, Jerry Lewis. And I think Mo's my favorite, like closest to my heart.
The bartender?
Yes,
Mo
the bartender.
Now, I have here from last night Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire's pool report, explaining what the fan in Philadelphia said to cause the umpire to eject a fan. I've never seen this before.
Yeah,
have you ever heard of that before?
No.
Of an umpire ejecting a fan?
No.
Okay. And the fan said something about owning property on 69th Street, which is quite an interesting line to cross right there. Would you mind reading Bob Davidson's recounting of that in a voice of your choosing? Was it Chief Wiggum, what do you think would be best, or who would be best for this sort of thing?
We can try like a different one on different lines and see how they work.
Okay, here you go. Hank Azaria reading Bob Davidson's pool report.
I want to comment on it afterwards. So this is what the umpire is saying as to why he threw a guy out.
Correct.
All of a sudden, in what inning was it? This guy starts yelling, "You suck." You could tell he was drunk.
Let's hear from Professor Frink now.
Okay.
And so, all right, suck is not bad. Then he kept it up for 2 hitters completely. Then the 3rd hitter, after the first pitch, he says, "I own property on 69th Street. You should come over and suck."
Let's hear from Mo now. All right, that's when I turned around and I said, you know what? Get rid of this guy. You can have your wife, girlfriend, kids. They buy tickets. They don't have to come here and listen to that. That's exactly what he said to throw him out. Now, I can't even count the problems with this. This is insane.
Well, you see later on, he says something about why security should be taken care of, something like that. If you want to keep going on as another character, you can see right
Maybe
there.
a little Apu.
Apu or something like that. Or, okay. Do what you want.
How about comic book guy?
Okay.
All I heard him say was suck. Didn't hear any N-words or anything like that. What he said about 69th Street, that is when I turned around and had the guy get rid of him. I didn't know why security just doesn't do that on their own. There was kids and young girls there. And people cheered me, which is unusual in this town for me.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I mean, Here's the thing.
It's kind of crazy.
Maybe not at baseball games so much, but you've heard so much worse, right?
Yeah.
At ball games. And I think then they really should. And then you are with your wife or kid, you're like, oh, God, can we please get this guy out
Maybe
of here?
something horrible happened on 69th Street in Bob Davidson's life.
You're obsessed with the 69th Street.
It's like it's the oddest thing I've heard in a long time. That causes an umpire to just basically say that's it.
I agree. It seems rather mild. And by the way, as we all know, here's what's really ironic about this. All umps do suck. So I don't understand what he's talking about.
So before I let you go, let's talk Brockmire, sir. Jim Brockmire, the legend of the booth, one of the funniest Funny or Die videos ever created. You decided to, how many episodes are coming?
We did 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
That will air next year.
On IFC?
On IFC, and then you'll probably be able to see them on Hulu or Netflix or whatever, wherever IFC throws their things up.
And you had Joe Buck and me and Dan do the old Funny or Die video.
Tim Kirkchin and Brian Kenny.
For this one?
Yes, or all. We got others, too. We got...
Tim Kirkchin.
Tim Kirkchin. Yes.
What was that like? Did he ad-lib? Did Tim Kirkchin, was he an ad-libber? Did he get off script?
Not ad-lib. He was very linear. He had to mention Yentl. I love Yentl was one of his lines. I won't even bother trying to explain how we got there.
Take it out of context.
But
it's
with
fine.
full commitment and joy, he went, I loved lentil instead of Yentl, which was great because Brockmire then went, oh, yeah, Barbra Streisand was great in lentil.
So you're going to Michael Mann that and keep it?
Oh, we're going to keep it, yeah. We're going to bring in Al Pacino to go, you got a great ass! Have Tim react to that.
I can't wait.
And Tim does have a great ass.
And does he really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go on and on. You can go. You go on and on about that.
Oh, I could.
Do you have, just before we let Hank go, Del Tufo, the moment when Stephen Bauer was here and we called up John Voight, we had him call up John Voight.
Wow.
Just to
Did him prank John Voight, basically?
First, we had him call Pacino, just to have him join live on the air.
Oh, he's like on that kind of got the relationship?
We went through Stephen Bauer's phone Rolodex.
Wow.
Okay, and it finally
Even
landed.
I wouldn't do that. I'm your friend. I wouldn't do that to you.
It finally landed
on speakerphone on the show.
On speakerphone. It finally landed. The one person he actually got on was John Voight, and this exchange happened. Go for it. John, it's Rich Eisen. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I just wanted to say hello. That's all I wanted to do. That was it.
Yeah, it's about all you deserved on that. Let's face it. Frankly, if you called me and said that, you'd have gotten less. I would have, you know what I would have said? I would have went, no. No.
You'd have gone the opposite direction.
I would have went, no.
Fantastic. Sundays, 9 Eastern and Pacific Showtime. Ray Donovan. We'll stay tuned for the Brockmire show on IFC next year. Good luck with the Emmy. Take it home, Hankala. Hey,
try to bring home the hardware.
Yeah, you got it. Just like the Jets and the Mets. Thank you for joining here on the show, Hank.
Always a pleasure to be here.
You got it.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.